welcome back to the channel. My name is Lizzie and I live in a small town in Vermont. I'm a pastor's wife and a mom of 4 and a gardener, and I enjoy sharing simple things in life, and especially relating to growing anything really when it comes to my garden or to my family or to even growing myself. So thank you for coming along and sharing this journey with me. Here I am outside. You can see all of our snow. This is pretty normal for February, though it has been super duper cold, 3 weeks of negative temperatures, but we're thinking that we're kind of out of that now. It's about 35 degrees out here and it feels like a dream. A little bit of a breeze, but feels really good. And so some of the snow is going to start melting. We'll get a little bit more, it'll start melting again. It's a long process, but it's starting. And so today we're going to go down to the basement and do some seed starting. And I'm also going to give you an update on all the seeds that have already started and show you how those are going. And we are going to step into the greenhouse for just a few minutes later in the video today, which is super exciting. So thanks for coming along, and I hope you enjoy this video today. We are now down here in my New England basement with my grow light set up and all kinds of junk back here. Just ignore that. We'll go like that so you can see the seedlings. There's a little bit of a little light streak on the screen, sorry. There's a lot of grow lights down here and it's not gonna affect your view, so y'all just gonna have to get over that. I don't have time to deal with that. So this week, which is the second week in February, I am starting larkspur, stock, 2 types of lettuce, and feverfew, and I'm also going to pre-sprout some ranunculus for the greenhouse. The stock I am not going to start today because I should have put that in the freezer last week. I put it in the freezer 2 days ago. It is now in the fridge, and it is going to be coming out of the fridge in and out during the day to kind of start waking those seeds up. At least that's what everybody tells me to do. I've never grown stock before, so we're going to see if that works. So I'm not going to do that today. I'll do that in a couple of days. And then I'm not going to pre-sprout ranunculus for you and show you that whole experience because I have never successfully done that. So y'all go watch another video on pre-sprouting ranunculus and growing them, and maybe next year I'll be ready to share that. But for right now, I am not. So my plan originally was going to be to sow all of this larkspur and to sow all of my stock. So I have 2 50 cell count trays. I have since then changed my mind because yesterday I listened to a podcast about the importance of succession planting. So I only have 50 seeds of each, guys. I'm not like a big flower farmer or anything. This is just, this year is an experimenting kind of year. And so I am going to split those in half, and I'm going to put this 50 cell count tray is going to have 25 larkspur and 25 stock in them. They're very similar in the way that they grow, that they like cool temperatures, they need light to germinate. So putting them in the same tray is going to be fine. And then 2 weeks from now, I will again be sowing more larkspur and stock in the exact same way. So after I am done sowing these larkspur in here, I'm going to go put them back into my refrigerator to keep them cool. So this is the QIS larkspur formula mix from Johnny's, and then my stock is going to be the Cat's formula mix. So again, if you want more information on those seeds, please search somewhere else. Blossom and Branch Farm, which is Bree, her YouTube channel is called Regenerative Gardening. Would be a really great place to go learn about some of these things. I don't think she has a larkspur one, but I know she has a stock information one, so that would be really helpful to you if you want to know a little bit more about that. I am not going to be pricking out the single flower, sorry, stock. With stock, the seedlings, when they pop up and they germinate, you can tell which ones are going to be double flowers and which ones are going to be single flowers. And a lot of people don't want those single flowers, and so they will actually pull out the ones that are going to be single flowers. I'm just going to keep all of them. There's no need for me to really do that. And people say that they're pretty anyway, so I'm going to do that. So hold on, I got to count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 16. And then from these trays, when it's time to plant them out, I'm going to put half of them in the greenhouse and half of them in the fields from each set. So from this set, which is one, and then when I redo them again in 2 weeks, I will be splitting those up as well, putting half into the greenhouse and half into the field. I really should have a great succession of these plants. If it all works right. The greenhouse I'll obviously be able to put in a little bit earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5 is 25. There we go. Okay, so these I'm going to put back into this bag very carefully because I don't want to lose them. Okay, and I'll go put them back in the bag and put these back in the fridge upstairs. It says 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch deep. So they do want just a tiny little bit of soil on the top. So I am just going to ruffle around the soil a little bit. I don't want to make like a divot where they're going to, you know, be way at the bottom. That would be too dark for them. But I'm just going to ruffle around this soil a little bit to kind of get the soil kind of fluffed up on the top, but not them buried underneath the soil. And again, I'll come back at the end of the week and put the stalk on the other side of this. It will be fine. It's not gonna affect it that much. I am not gonna put these under a heat mat. They're just gonna go under the grow lights with plastic wrap on the top. And for right now, I am not gonna label anything, which is probably a bad idea, but here I am out of popsicle sticks. And so this will just be the way it is. Oh, I got a mist first, hold on. This is what I use to mist, just a spray bottle, but I went to Dollar Tree the other day for some things, and I saw in their garden section some $5 misters, like real misters, like the misters that you pump and you push the button and it mists over it. I don't particularly need that because my spray bottle works just fine, but if you're in the mood to go buy that for $5, why not give it a shot? It may break in 2 days. I can't promise that, but that is a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna put these under the grow lights, no heat mat. All right, so I have finished filling up the rest of my packs that I am going to use today. Again, I am do not do what I'm doing by just not labeling things. I will get some popsicle sticks this afternoon or sometime, but I'm gonna regret this, but my best I can to put them somewhere else. But I know what the difference is between a lettuce and a feverfew, so I'm not really too concerned about it. So lettuces, I'm just doing 6 plants of each. I've got the Tom Thumb Dwarf lettuce from M.I. Gardner, and then an iceberg head lettuce to get started. I could have used potting soil for all of these things I'm doing today. I did use potting soil for the larkspur. I could use potting soil for this as well, but I don't have any in here, so I should get some more. So I just went ahead and used some seed starting mix. I'm sprinkling a couple on each pack, and let me see how deep these are supposed to be. Plant these 1/4 of an inch deep. So again, going to ruffle up this, get these going. I'm going to put them into the greenhouse hopefully by the beginning of March is my plan, or middle of March. We will see. I will be doing another succession of this lettuce in a couple of weeks, and that will be specifically for the farm stand. I don't need to start those quite this early. This is a little bit too early to be starting that end. All right, so you know what? Let's just do, I'm gonna put the tags right next to them so I know exactly which ones they are. And I won't even put them under the grow lights yet until I have those popsicle sticks, which I will get today. There we go. And now I'm going to start some feverfew. This is the Magic Single OG feverfew. Again, from Johnny's. This is just when you think of feverfew, this is what you think. I have not ever started these before, so I probably should read on the back and just double check. Do not cover as light aids to germinate. So just put them right on the surface. I will see if these are hardy to my zone. I don't know if they will be or not. They're hardiness zone 5 to 9. Wow, those are the teeniest things I've ever seen in my life. Holy smokes, this is worse than a snapdragon seed, because the snapdragon seeds are at least dark. These are light colored. These are like tan little thin seeds. Oh, gracious. Okay. Anyways, these, I don't know if they're going to be hardy to my zone or not, to be honest. They're zones 5 to 9. I am really a zone 4. We get pretty cold here. So, and then just down the hill is a zone 5. And you can see the difference. It's actually very interesting. When we drive down the hill and more towards town, it's always about a week ahead of where we are up here. Anyways, so I'm just going to sprinkle a few on the top in case some don't germinate. They're pretty inexpensive, so I have a few left. So I'm hoping that they will overwinter. I don't know if they will or not. I am planning on making a little bed, and by making a little bed, I just mean digging up some dirt, putting a little soil on the top. I put these in next to my raspberries patch. And so maybe if I plan on putting like some frost cloth over the top, then they will be okay. This is when things for seed starting to start getting real unorganized. I'm just putting stuff back in boxes. I don't know where it is. I'm not putting anything where it goes. I'm just kind of hoping for the best. All right, there we go. So there you have it for seed starting. I'm going to put them in very specific places so I know what's what. But let's pop over here and let me give you a seedling update of everything that I have so far. So let's start with the fails first, shall we? Just to kind of get those out of the way. That would be great. These Lysianthus have started popping up for sure. You can't hardly see them. You see a couple of them. They're teeny tiny, but they do have 2 to 3 sets of leaves on them. My germination has not been fantastic. I don't particularly think that's my fault. I think it just is what it is. The thing I regret about these is putting these in these big containers. I was kind of thinking in my head, oh, you know, if I put the Lisianthus in those big cells, then I'm not going to have to pot them up. But by doing that, I'm wasting a ton of space because there's multiple empty spots in here now. And it would have been better for me to put them in my 72 cell count trays, which are much smaller, not enough room for the roots. But when I went to pot them up, then I could have put multiple different varieties, or different colors, I guess I should say, in one of these containers, and can actually condense the space that I was using. It really would be impossible to do that at this point, and probably not safe, because I would have to flip around everything. And I don't want to do that. So I'm not overly thrilled. Which one is this? This is the Arena something. Arena Red. This is Arena Red. I'm not overly thrilled with the way I did this, and I'm not overly thrilled with how they're going. But we'll see. I haven't done any fertilizer yet. I'm going to start that this week. So, oh well. And I feel that way about all the Lisianthus, not just this variety. Another thing that has not gone well has been these blue pansies. I had got these blue pansies from Baker Creek. I did them in the same way as I did my other pansies, which I'll show you those in a minute. And they're not doing good. Now, the only difference is that when I did the other pansies, I had them on the floor with a 10-20 tray over top of them because they need darkness and coolness to germinate. Fine. I did not put these on the floor. I had them up here under the grow lights, but I did have a 10-20 tray over these specific ones because they were sharing a 10-20 tray with something else, and I didn't want to move everything. So that has been the only difference. So maybe they were a lot hotter, and maybe that's why they're not germinating. But I feel like you would get some germination. Like if you did germination wrong, you would get at least some that would germinate, and then most of them wouldn't. But this is just like nothing is happening. I see a couple of seeds starting to sprout. At this point, they're so far behind. I'll keep them and still do something with them, but my plan for these was to sell these at the farm stand, and I'm not going to be able to do that at this point, unfortunately, which is too bad. So I'll give them a little while longer, and maybe after a couple of weeks, once they've all, well, I shouldn't say all, once the ones that have germinated are going to germinate, then I will maybe put them all in the same pack to save some room, but that's about it. So, but in all honesty, that is the only things that I feel like have failed, which I don't think is really that bad. So let's take a look at what everything else is doing. Let's start with the pansies. These are the king size, whatchamacallums, that word I can't pronounce, and then the antique shade ones from Johnny's, and they are gorgeous. They are looking so pretty. I have them in this tray because these are ones that I am going to use in baskets and in my own pots. These are not for sale. These are for me. And so I am very excited about that. And I'm going to be experimenting this year with keeping them on the porch in the shade and see if I can cut them at a certain time and then get them to reflush in the fall, because I've been reading a book about that. So we will see how those go, but those are doing great. I've got jalapenos in here, which are doing fantastic. All of this is doing great. Here's the geraniums, which are doing fantastic, exactly where they should be. Rosemary's doing good. Some of these ones died because the soil dried up a little bit too much. That is totally my fault. And then look at that oregano. Woo-hoo-hoo. That is doing really good too. So I'm very excited about those. This whole tray is fantastic. I've got more pansies down there that I'm not going to show you because they're the King's whatever. And they're in 6-packs because those are going to go on the farm stand. I've got more Lysianthus, more pansies, more geraniums, so more of the same. Now, here's quite the thing. Whoops. Here's sweet peas that obviously germinated really well. I started these pretty early, and I did that for the fact that last year I started them like too late because we warmed up really quickly. And I didn't start them from indoors last year. I started them just in the ground, and I did that in the middle of March, and it took forever, and it took so long that they didn't really do very good because it got hot before they could really bloom really well. So I was like, oh, I'm going to start really early. Now I've started too early because they're going to get really big and bushy, and then they're going to like start doing the little tendrils. This one's already got it. You can't see it. Oh yeah, you can a little bit. Trying to grab stuff. I think I am going to pinch these. I'm going to read a little bit about pinching sweet peas. If you know about that, please tell me a little bit about it so I don't do it wrong. But I think I am going to pinch these, so that will get them down a little bit more. And these, for the most part, are actually ready to go out into the greenhouse. They will not be going out into the greenhouse 24/7 because our nights still get too cold. They can handle as low as a 16-degree temperature. I feel safe at 25 just because I don't want anything to happen to them. And they also can handle snow, but our nights are still cooler than that right now. So I am planning on taking them out during the day and putting them into the greenhouse and then bringing them back in at night until that temperature is above 25 on a consistent basis. Every day and every night, both, which should be pretty soon. So that is only going to make them grow on more taller. Oh well, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. They're going to be fine. And I have 2 trays of those. So I have 100, actually a little bit more than 100 seeds of those. So I have trellises out there. I'm going to put them on. So that's going to be hopefully very pretty. Up here, I have blue plurum. I have never done blue plurum. And boy, did I think I thought I had messed these up. So the blue plurum, there's a lot of things on the internet about blue plurum, and they're very conflicting. Some things say they need darkness to germinate. Some things say they don't. Some things say they need a heat mat. Some say they don't. They are starting to germinate. I had them on top of a heat mat. I didn't have them under darkness. I don't know what to tell you. Seeds are resilient. And so here comes one right here. Other ones will start to pop up. I really should take this off now, to be honest with you, and just put it underneath without the heat mat. I think I'm going to take the heat mat off, even if they haven't all germinated. I'll leave this like that so that little one can grow. I planted all of them, which I think was not the smartest thing to do. I should have waited and done a succession planting. So I think I'm actually going to grab a few more. See, they're starting to get a little leggy. So I think I'm going to grab another pack from the Gardener's Workshop, who always sells their seed packets without any shipping charges, which just makes me feel better about myself. So I'm going to start taking these off, I think, actually, and then taking that heat mat off, and we will see kind of what happens. Yep, some of them are starting to come up right there. So plastic off, heat mats off, and we will see how they do. All right, so there's the blue plurum. I put them in a 10-20 tray. The plastic is off. Some of them are growing. Some of them are a little leggy because I took the plastic off too late. It's okay. We're going to do another round. It's all going to be fine. They have a drink now. I put that in the 10-20 tray so they can drink from the bottom, and that's good to go. Last thing to show you is snapdragons. I did so good with my snapdragons last year. Almost every spot is full. I've got maybe 2 or 3 that are not full. But then I got a couple that have multiple in them. So they're doing super, super well. Going to get fertilizer for the first time this week. Actually, some of them are still coming up. They're teeny tiny. Very neat. So snapdragons went so well for me last year. They were stellar. Great stem length, but also great stem thickness. Just really looked great in bouquets. So I've decided this year I am not going to be pinching them. If you pinch them, you have the ability to create more snapdragons, because when you pinch the top, you can put that into soil, it will grow roots and grow another snapdragon, and it worked perfectly for me. However, when you pinch them, they will not be as tall and the stems will not be as strong. So it really depends on what your purpose of them is. For me, for a market looking bouquet, I want a strong stem and I want it to be tall. So each of these plants is only going to give me 1 stem, and that is okay with me. I'm willing to do that. But if you are a home gardener who's kind of just putting your snapdragons into maybe a vase and you don't plan on doing anything else with them, I would suggest you pinch them, because you can create double the amount of snapdragons for yourself by pinching them. I am just not doing that this year. The only ones that I am going to let reflush is going to be my group 1, 2, which I can't think on the top of my head which ones those are. Must be these, but they are apricot color, I believe. I may be incorrect, but either way, those will have enough time to be able to reflush in the fall. Everything else, I am just flushing 1 time with that 1 stem, and they're getting pulled out, and I'm putting something else there. But these look great. I'm super happy with them. Again, half of them going into the greenhouse, half of them going to the field when it is ready and it is time for them to go. One thing I did forget to mention when I was down in the grow room about the sweet peas. I am putting them into the greenhouse. In fact, they are in the greenhouse right now. It is currently 50 degrees in here, which is just perfect for them to grow on. They are going to be super happy in here. But in case you are not familiar with hardening off, I am not just shoving them into the greenhouse and then never bringing them back in, or I'm not putting them out all day. I'm hardening them off. So today I am putting them out here. I'm going to pick up my kids from school, and then when I get back home, I'm going to take them back inside. They're not going to be under the grow lights anymore. That's a little bit too much of a temperature change to have them go from the grow lights to the greenhouse over and over again. So they will just stay on the kitchen table. And then tomorrow I will put them out for probably 2.5, 3 hours. Probably 1 more day, I'll acclimate them, and then they'll be good to live out here during the day, and then I'll bring them in at night until the night temperatures start being 25 or above. So that'll work good. But I am in the greenhouse. We are doing things in the greenhouse. That is so exciting. It's sunny outside. Next week, I'm going to start working on waking up my tulips and getting a few things done in here and organizing. So I'll take you guys along for that. But thank you for watching the video today. Thank you for following along. If you haven't subscribed yet, I do appreciate that you do if you love my content. Or if you find it helpful, a like and a share is also really helpful as well. But I will see you guys in the next video next week. Stay warm. Bye.